Hi everyone, this is Sarah Michel with another weekly challenge to God, my weekly session of blasphemy where I challenge God directly to provide some evidence that He exists. Now, this is also an experiment to demonstrate that the interventionist personal God that the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims believe does not exist. It's an archive that I'm building to demonstrate to believers that their God cannot silence a blasphemer and a heretic who decides to challenge him live in front of a camera. So that is one of the reasons why I do this. And the reasons why I am an atheist. I also express in these sessions the reasons why I'm an atheist and why the proposition, the concept of God put forward by believers of a personal interventionist God is both a logical and a physical impossibility. Now, there are several problems to their proposition, but I think the most baffling one, the most nonsensical concept of this God is the concept of benevolence. The idea that this God of the Bible and of the Quran is a benevolent God. This is absurd. The idea of a God that punishes heretics and dissidents and blasphemers for eternity makes benevolence absolutely stupid. Makes no sense. Now, a loving father might punish their children to make them learn something. But when you're talking about eternal suffering, there is nothing to be learned. Eternal suffering is simply sadism, is simply pain. A father that is willing to make their children suffer for all eternity for not obeying his demands is a sadist. A sadist cannot be benevolent, especially a sadist that has all power in a universe. It's just not possible. It doesn't make any sense. Another problem with benevolence is the world, the proposition is the world as we know it, and our species were created by God. Now, God created a world, created us in a certain way, and later gave us moral codes that contradict the very same instincts that He gave us. Now, this is sadism. God set us up for suffering. And then if we don't follow His moral code, if we don't follow His teachings, we will be punished in hell. And we are only allowed in heaven if we either repent and start and apologize for living according to the instincts that He gave us. We have to apologize to Him for that. Or we will suffer for all eternity. Now, this is evil. And this is precisely what I say, precisely what I mean when I say that if this being exists, it's not a God, it's the devil. It makes much more sense that the devil is real than God. And if such being exists, he might call himself a God. His believers might call him a God, but he is no God. He would be the devil, and I would detest him even more. But I don't need to worry so much about that because this being isn't real. This being doesn't exist. I repeat, it cannot possibly exist. And that's what gives me some comfort and makes life a lot more bearable, because I'm happy actually that this being doesn't exist, that it is an impossibility. And if you think I'm wrong, well, you have to provide evidence, some empirical, verifiable evidence that this God exists, not No such evidence has ever been provided. And if you are a believer in God, and if you think that I'm full of shit, you should be happy that I'm doing these sessions, because these provide your God some opportunity to provide some evidence that he exists. But he won't. He can't, because he doesn't. He isn't real. He is an invention to try to ease the suffering. But it's not helping. It doesn't help anybody, because it's a lie. And that's why atheism is growing, because we are sick of this lie. And I hope these sessions will help, providing more evidence that this whole thing is a load of crap. There is no God. I am Sarah Michel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.